Today we talk about main topics, substitution keeper, subtopic about the asymmetric encryption. So about algorithm, and algorithm is basically a procedure or a formula for solve a data snooping problem. An encryption algorithm is a set of mathematical procedure for performing encryption on data. Through the use of such an algorithm, information is made in the cryptotext and require the use of a key to transforming the data into its original form. This brings us to the concept of cryptography that has long been used in information security in communication system. So let's talk about cryptography. What is that? Cryptography is a method of using advanced mathematical principles in storing and transmitting data in a particular form so that only those whom it is intended can read and process it. Encryption is a key concept in cryptography. It is a process whereby a message is encoded in a format that cannot be read or understood by an eavesdropper. The technique is old and was first used by Casa to encrypt his message using Casa Keeper. A plain text from a user can be encrypted to Keeper text, then sent through a communication channel and no eavesdropper can interfere with the plain text. When it reads the receiver in, the cryptotext is decrypted to the original plain text. And for the cryptographic term, encryption, it is the process of locking up information using cryptography, and information has been locked this way is encrypted. Decryption. Let's talk about decryption, the process of unlocking the encrypted information using cryptography technique. The key, a secret like password used to encrypt and decrypt information. There are a few different types of key used in cryptography. And steganography, it is actually the science of hiding information from people who would snoop on you. The difference between stenography and encryption is that the would-be snooper may not be able to tell there any hidden information in the first place. And we can see the diagram for asymmetrical encryption. So normally they have a plain text, and whenever they send to another partner, they use encryption. So they have a public key, and then the other party should have secret key. So after they have a exchange the key like public and secret key, they can be decrypts that plain text with the keeper text. So I will show you another RSA algorithm like this one. This is the sender, and we have a ASCII code with plain text. So that one we have a encryption key like public key going through to RSA keeper for that, and this one encryption key. So whenever they send the message to the receiver, they also have uh, they have the private key to open the text that sent from the sender. Then they will convert it to the plain text. Yeah. So it almost the same thing on asymmetrically encryption. Those are the same thing. So it just only exchange the between public key and private key. Yeah. So let's talk about asymmetrically encryption. So asymmetrical encryption is also known as a public key cryptography, which is related to a new method like compared to symmetric encryption. And asymmetric encryption uses two keys to encrypt a plain text. So like secret key are exchanged over the internet or a large network, and it ensures that the malicious person do not misuse the key. It is important to note that anyone with secret key to boosting security. A public key is made freely available to anyone who might want to send you a message. The second private key is keep a secret so that you can only know a message that is encrypted using a public key can only decrypt using a private key, as I already told you before in a diagram. So whenever you have a public key and they gonna description using your private key, so only receiver have the private key. And the security of the public key is not required because it is publicly like available and can be passed over the internet. And asymmetric encryption is mostly used in day-to-day communication channel, especially over the internet. And popular asymmetric key encryption algorithms include gamma, RSA, DSA, elliptic curve technique like PKCS, something like that. So those are the example for you. I mean the algorithm almost the same. Okay, let's talk about asymmetric encryption in digital certificate. So this could be different from the other one. So to use asymmetric encryption, there must be a way to discover public key. One typically technique is using digital certificate in the client-server model of a communication. A certificate is a package of information that identify a user and a server. It contains information such as an organization name, an organization that issued the certificate, the user email address and country, and user public key. So when a server and a client require secure encryption communication, they send a query over the network to the other party, which send back a copy of the certificate. So the other party public key can be extracted from the certificate. A certificate can also be used to unique identify the holder, like ASL, TLS, use both asymmetric and symmetric encryption. Quickly look at digital sign certificate issued by trust certificate authorization. So the difference between symmetric and asymmetric encryption is that like symmetric encryption use single key that need to be shared among the people who need to receive the message, while asymmetrically encryption use a pair of public key and a private key to encrypt and decrypt message when communicating. Symmetric encryption is an old technique, while asymmetric encryption is a relatively new one, and asymmetric encryption was introduced to complement the inherent problem of the need to share the key in symmetrical encryption model, eliminating the need to share the key by use a pair of public-private key. Asymmetric encryption takes relative more time than symmetric encryption. This is the difference between symmetric and asymmetric encryption. So for conclusion, when it comes to encryption, the latest game may necessarily the best fit. You should always use the encryption algorithm that is right for the test at hand. In fact, as cryptography take a new shift, new algorithms are being developed in a bid to catch up with the envelope proper and secure information to enhance confidentially. Hackers are bound to make it tough for experts in the coming year. So expect more from cryptography called community. So that's all for our presentation about asymmetric encryption. So thank you for watching my video.